Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Renee. Welcome to the Ask Dr. Renee Show. If this is your first time visiting us this evening, we've had some really wonderful guests. We've had Cupid with the Cupid Shuffle, Paul Carrick Brunson, the Modern Day Hitch, LV with LVGPR, Shanti Das, the Hip Hop Professional, just to name a few. And if you'd like to see any of the older episodes, please feel free to go to my website, askdrrenee.info, and you can click on the Ask Dr. Renee Show and watch them all right there. Tonight, our guest is Rob Hill Sr. He's an author, a publisher, and a philanthropist. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Rob, there's so much I want to talk to you about tonight, so let's get started. So, Rob, I first became familiar with you when my girl, Dawn Day, reposted one of your quotes on Instagram, and thanks to Siri, I figured out exactly when, April 28th, 2013.
Wow.
The quote was, "It's nothing like having somebody that gets you, somebody who knows how to get through to you, somebody that knows you well enough to challenge you when you need it, somebody who will pray with you when you feel defeated, and somebody who knows how to back up and be your peace and when times get heated. I realize there's no perfect relationship. Every day won't be great. Every conversation won't be great. Every conversation won't be full of laughter, and every moment won't feel like bliss. I get all of this, but maybe my problem is I want something that's easy to fight for. I want something so fulfilling that I never think twice about quitting. I want a love so rewarding that I never considered going back to life without it. I want a relationship so valuable that I confidently ignore my fears when they try to bring doubts in it. But I don't want it bad enough to force it. I want it right, so I want to wait. In the meantime, I'm just working on me for our forever." I was like, who is this man? I was like, oh my goodness. So then, of course, I searched, because this is on Instagram, so then I looked at your stuff. I was like, oh my God, there's tons of them. So I go to Facebook, and I said, because I feel like I discover everything, and everyone always asks me stuff. That's why it's askdrrenee.info, and that's why it's Ask Dr. Renee, because I'm always the one that's in the know. So
Right.
I put a little message on Facebook and said, has anyone heard of this Rob Hill Sr.? And everyone says, yeah, Renee, he's the bomb, saying your praises. I was so upset. I was like, nobody put me on to him. Nobody
Right.
told me to follow
Nobody
him.
shared the good news with you?
Right.
Right.
So that's how I found out about you. And then I was like, oh my goodness. And I saw how many followers you had. And that's when I said, we need to bring this guy to Chicago. And then shortly thereafter, you came. And I was just blown away that, one, the event that you did here in Chicago was completely sold out. Two, it was so diverse, because most of the stuff you say, I'm like, oh, any woman would just be dying. But there was men in the crowd. There was women, white, Hispanic, black, Chinese. It was just amazing, such a blend of people. And so I was just beyond impressed. I said, wow, this guy's really onto something. So, and I learned a lot that day that I didn't already know about you. So I just thought I'd share that with you. So can you please share with everyone your story growing up in Virginia and, how you ended up getting here?
Well, thank you for all the love and support. I truly appreciate it. I don't take people showing up for me for granted. It was extremely cold in Chicago that night, and I remember meeting you. So I really appreciate you showing up. I was like, man, people aren't going to show up. It's too cold. But,
oh, wait, not only did they show up, they stood in very long lines to meet you.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And that was like, one of those things. It just felt good. But I got started. I've been writing pretty much, I want to say, my whole life. I started sharing those writings in about 2008. I started this email group list. It was about 22 people, mostly family and friends, and I call it the Thoughts for the Day. And in that, I guess it was my attempt to make people smile. I was on a deployment. I was in the Navy at the time, and my family and friends, they would email me, but it would be complain and this and that. I'm like, I'm the one that's away from everybody. I should be the one, a little down. But what I was doing was reading. I was feeding myself while I was away, and it's kind of hard to be eating and not want to share with people you love. So that list started growing because literally every day I was just trying to pour, whether it was talking about dreams, whether it's talking about relationships, any type of thing. I just wanted it to be some truth. I wanted it to be some connection. that started growing. I finished my time in the Navy in 2012. My first book officially came out in September 2011. It was a very small release, only 500 copies, but it made me feel like an author. And I stopped kind of being an inspiring writer at that point. And I really flipped a switch. And I felt like I had something to say and something that was valuable. And I was determined to kind of prove that to people. So that journey kind of brought me to talking with you right now.
Now, did you self-publish?
Yeah, I
Okay.
self-published all. I have 3 print books and one audio book. I self-published those three, and then the audio book as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I now have
Wow.
a book coming out towards the end of this year called The Missing Piece, and that'll be on Atria through Simon and Schuster Publishing.
Oh, well,
So this is my first.
congratulations.
Yeah, this is my first big publishing house release. So I'm excited about that. I earned it, you know.
Oh, definitely, definitely. You proved to them that you can do it.
Yes, yes,
And I think, and I today, we in rehearsal, I already talked to Rob, and we've talked about how I want to talk about one, the whole entrepreneurial thing. So one, you selling your own books proves to publishers that you can sell books.
right,
So then they would give you a publishing deal. That's a fair deal because that's the other thing is you can get a publishing deal and it'd be horrible,
right,
and you might as well have just self-published anyway because you'd have
exactly.
made more money. So I'm sure you got a much better deal because you've already proven yourself. Rob's toured the
Yeah.
country, and because my friend that recommended, I mean, my friend that reposted your stuff, Dawn Day, she went and saw you in California, the same
Okay.
tour that I saw. Yes.
That's one of
Yes.
my favorite places. I love doing shows in California.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love it
LA
out
is
there.
fun.
It's something about the beach that makes me feel home.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you skipped over the part that I thought was most interesting was that you lived in your car at 17.
Yeah, I was my parents kicked me out at 17. And it was all of my own choices. Uh, I see it that way now. Back then, I
Right,
thought that they
exactly. As a teenager, we don't necessarily
were
understand
yeah, I thought they were
why
evil.
they say what they say or do what they do, but
Exactly. But I did not get it. And in that path, I experienced a lot. It was probably between the time from '05 to 2008. And it started in June of 2005 because I had just graduated high school. I was about to go into college. And it was just, I would sleep on this friend's couch. I would sleep at this friend's house. I would sleep at, this girl's couch, this girl's house. It was really a community of people that kind of helped me through, what I was going through. But when I became a father, it was time to stop playing. It was time to, really get it together and lock everything down. I try not to always emphasize that point because I don't want to make it the foundation of my story. A lot of people get hit with hard times, and it's not really always about that hard time particularly. It's, how we respond to it. Because
exactly.
there's so many veterans, who got out of the Navy and did so much worse. I don't even want to say worse, but aren't as fortunate as I was. A lot of the time when I told people I was getting out, they were like, "You want to go back to your car? You sure you want to leave this? This is a consistent paycheck." And I'm like, I just felt like it was a little bit more out there for me, and God has allowed things to open and doors to open for me.
That is wonderful. And it's always good to have a plan. And sounds like while you were in the Navy, you were developing your plan and
Oh
strategy
yeah.
of what you
Oh,
wanted to do.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I was mapping it out each day. I call that period my wilderness. God kind of took me away from everybody, everything that I knew, everything that was familiar with me. And He gave me books, and He gave me tools, and He gave me time. So I was mapping it out. I knew that I probably wasn't going to make it trying to retire in the Navy. So it was best to have an exit plan, and have one that, left me in good standing with them, but also gave me a chance to pursue what was really in my heart.
Now, I thought it was just so amazing that you wrote every day for how
Yeah.
many years?
Almost 4 years straight, literally almost 4 years straight. I broke my streak when I published my third book,
Okay.
and I kind of stopped. I wasn't feeling as full as I once was. I always try to write, from an honest intention. But yeah, every day, and I was reading so many books. I probably was reading like 2 or 3 books a week at that time. I found that every time that I'm in a heavy season of reading, I do probably my best writing.
Okay. So if there's some entrepreneur out there that's just getting started, what's a book that you recommend for them
Um, well, before I
to maybe
recommend a
help
book,
them find their purpose or
yeah, before I recommend a book, I choose books based off of what I believe my weaknesses are. So before recommending a book, I try to get people to write out what it is they feel like they need to improve it. I feel like most books are really just tools, so it would be dependent on what you were trying to improve it. I wanted to improve it intimacy. I wanted to be able to confident in trusting myself and other people. So I picked up a book by Oshu, and it happened to be called Intimacy, Trusting Oneself and Others. I wanted to understand myself better as a man, so I picked up He Motions by T.D. Jakes. I wanted, to have purpose. I tried Purpose Driven Life. I tried The Assignment by Mike Murdoch. I've just always tried to pick books out of what I felt like I needed to improve on. So before recommending titles, because if I just recommend it blankly, I don't know what it is they're going to get out of it. So
I
I try to direct people, like search based off of what you want to get better at.
gotcha. So you started writing, and then so how did you leap to social media?
I believe it was just a natural transition. That's something that my generation is just deep rooted in. I'm 27, so it's just my peer group. Social media is there. But when I was away in the Navy, I couldn't get on anything but Tumblr. So the only social access I had was either email or Tumblr. So Tumblr kind of was my natural, okay, I see what social media is about. And then I found out about Twitter, and I just found it to be an on-time tool for me to be able to get my message out. I wanted to be able to get it out, a little faster than email was allowing, and I wanted it to be a little bit more interactive. And I'm like, wow, they talk right back to you as soon as you throw it out there. Um, so to me, that was like the perfect research tool. It was like, what do people want to hear? What resonates with them? All of that stuff. So social media was like a gift, I believe. It was a chance for me to do market research that I probably wouldn't have been able to do on my own or independently.
I understand completely, and and I mean, you take off right away? When did you get on Twitter?
But I got on Twitter, I believe, in 2009 or 2010. One
Okay.
of those, yeah,
Okay.
2009 or 2010. And no, I did not take off immediately. I was one of those people who were reading tweets and putting my stuff out like, what? If that person says it, they listen. But if I say it, then they don't want to hear it. I was one of those people with those gripes. But I just shut up and decided that I needed to write better.
Mhm.
You can't force connection with people. You got to make it authentic. So if I wanted their ear, I had to touch their heart in a different way. So it was a slow and steady grind. It was a slow and steady pace, just really building it up. Each book has done better than the last, and things just continue to grow.
Now now you're an actual brand. So how did you build your company?
Um, I say I built it on authenticity. I've always just done what I felt was going to help people. I've never written a book that I didn't feel was necessary. I never written a book because I felt like it was out of force. It's really just been trying to be valuable to people. The same vein that I started the email list. I really feel like I'm just here for people. So it was like, all right, who's saying something I can really relate to? Who is speaking directly to me? And I didn't really find that person. So through writing, I started becoming a better person. There's something about putting those words on paper and them coming alive that holds you accountable in a different way. So it just all really helped.
So I mean, how big is your team?
Um, I would say about 500,000 people. And no, to be honest, my team is about 700,000 strong right now. Word of mouth has been my most powerful tool. Word of mouth
Gotcha.
has been
Okay.
the one thing. Word of mouth found help you find me, and that's been my most powerful tool. So that's how strong my team really is. Now the core of my team is about 5 or 6 people who
Okay.
help me, on a daily basis as far as challenging me to write about different things, challenging me to write better, challenging me to, as far as business is concerned, encouraging me with interesting ideas, that type of stuff.
That's great. That is great. So you left the Navy and you didn't get another job. You just started doing this.
Yeah, no, I left the Navy and I fell right on my face. I had one book, and it was just not beneficial. I was probably making like $7 a month off of it, maybe.
Hmm.
No more than 50 in a good month. Um, so I thought I had enough savings. Turns out I didn't. I had to write to my rental office and beg them to let me out without penalty, and I had to move in with my mom, and I had to really scale back and do a whole bunch of stuff. Um, but I stayed creative. I kept working. I kept honing my craft, and God worked it out. Like literally worked it out to where I only had to live with her for a few months. Put out my books, had more events, and it's literally been a self-sustaining thing since 2012.
Now, excuse me, how did you get into the speaking portion after writing these books? How did you get into speaking? Because not every author is a speaker.
Yeah, well, I think speaking is what I do best. That is
Okay.
what I'm most natural because when I'm speaking to people, I don't feel like I have to say something smart. When I'm speaking to people, there's a certain energy or synergy in a room that, to truth, just is welcome. I feel like so that is my natural thing. It's my natural way. Now, writing allows me a platform to speak on. So it was really just showing people that I had something to say, not just good words to read. So I started with, YouTube videos. I did probably 60 free speaking engagements in one year. I would write schools, ask them to let me come speak. I would write colleges, ask them to let me come speak. I would network, get in cool with people who had organizations, all of that. I just practiced. I practiced and I started documenting it. Um, and people started, requesting. You still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Uh-oh. Are we losing our signal? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you great.
Okay. So you and I have a lot in common, but I knew that from the quotes. Okay, good. You and I have a lot in common. I knew that from the quotes, but we know our purpose is to help people. So can you please tell us all about the Thousand Kings Foundation?
Well, the Thousand Kings Foundation is that's my second baby. My son Robert is my first. Starting out, relationships wasn't my focus. It was young men. It was community, and that is still the very core of me. Um, I just know how many people could have had it so much worse than I did as far as young men. And we don't naturally make bad decisions. We're naturally don't have the experience always to make the best ones. And I've always wanted to be somebody who guided people. So with the Thousand Kings Foundation, the pillars are inspire, impact, and influence. So we want young people to live extraordinary lives. We want to push them to live their dreams, however it may be, and we want them to have plans, and we want them to think out of the box, and we want them to understand that the traditional route is not the only route for them. So with that, we had the Thousand Kings Walk on June 1st of 2013, and what I did was want to inspire young people by giving 10 $1,000 scholarships. And I basically just welcomed the world in on my journey. I went to group home, elementary school, prison. I went to so many different places, just trying to get people to renew that sense of community, to renew that sense of responsibility to one another, but also understanding that we got to make the youth a priority. And the Thousand Kings Foundation is designed to make young people the priority, and to give them true investments, not just money, but to also give them mentorship, guidance, answers to questions, all those different types of things.
So how can people help you to get involved with that, so that they can mentor these boys? And are you just in the DMV area or is it nationwide?
Well, if you have a good idea of how we can branch out, my service has been primarily in the DMV area as far as Virginia and the district. But if there are ways that we can branch out, partner with other people, that would be great. You can email thousandkingswalk@gmail, or you can, go to my contact information on the website, which is Lindsay at studio43.com. We'll give you
Sounds
all,
good.
all the information you would need. But we would love people to partner with. We're all about service.
That sounds, it's much needed. There's
Thank
not
you.
not enough of those organizations, and unfortunately, we still have a lot of things that need to get worked out. And
Hey, we all
um,
we all got to do the work. We all
exactly,
do the work.
exactly. So, are you planning anything this year with the Thousand Kings Foundation
Yeah, we're
that
gonna
you
try to
want?
do a gala. We're gonna try to do a
Okay.
gala, and then we're also going to try to do something for the homeless in November. Um, I guess I'll share the idea with you. It's basically we want to do a sleep in. Last year there was a such thing called a sleep out. It was basically people who have homes slept outside to show solidarity with the homeless, and I thought it was a great idea and I loved it. However, I wanted to take it a step further and possibly get a hotel to sponsor a sleep in. So us sleeping with you is one thing, but me giving you a warm bed, access to food, and of course we can use the hotel conference rooms for, job fair. We
Right.
can get makeovers. We can have some barbers, some beauticians. We can have some business owners who are looking to hire. So I want to make it a sleep in. That's one of my strongest desires to end the year off. I just think it would be great to give them all a $30 room service tab, let them watch cable, just feel some warmth. Granted, me sleeping beside you is one thing, but me giving you, a different opportunity is another, I believe.
That's a great idea, and I did see I saw the sleep out on TV. They had some of the people from Good Morning America slept out with the
Right,
people.
right. It was amazing. It was
Hmm.
amazing. More specifically, there's a place called Covenant House in D.C. And they partner with this guy I know named Tony Lewis, who does a lot of awesome work in D.C. as far as the community and young people are involved.
That is really cool. Um, so, did you ever imagine that this would be your life?
Uh, I would plan to be an actor.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, I did. I've always felt like I would be well known. I will say that my name, in fact, means bright fame. My mom told me that, when I was young. But I didn't know what it would be for. I knew I didn't want my influence to be worthless. I knew that if I was going to have influence, it would have to be for the betterment of people. But I did not know I would be an author. I did not know that I would get to travel and speak. I did not know. My plan was I would write one book before I die. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write a book one day. I did not know that that would be my primary profession. But it did not take me long to realize this was where I was supposed to be. I will say that.
Now, do you think you'll maybe in the future still go into acting?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm going back to get every dream I once thought was impossible. That is my plan, not just for this year, but for the rest of my
The
life.
rest of your life. I
And
gotcha.
if I can't get in someone else's films, I plan to write my own. Um,
Exactly.
and if it's not just written, I plan to direct some. Some dreams just don't die.
That's great. And one of my other guests, his book is going to be a movie, so maybe one of your
Right.
books will be a movie.
We just never know. We
You
never
never
know.
know.
But
You
I'm
never know.
definitely not. I'm not giving up before I give myself a shot.
That's a good idea. Good
Right.
idea. So, what is a day in the life of Rob Hill Sr.?
I guess it would depend on which day.
That's what every
Uh,
entrepreneur says.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on which day. It's such a up and down type of thing. Three things happen every day. I'm going to work out. I'm going to go run. I'm going to write in my journal, and I'm going to read. Those are three things that are just going to happen each day. Outside of that, one day may be interviews, one day may be administrative work. So maybe I'm signing contracts, planning events, brainstorming ideas. Another day I might just be painting. Another day outside of that, I may be writing towards a book. I may be traveling. I may get to do some cool events. I have one of I couldn't imagine another life, not to really brag, but it's exciting for me. I am
Yeah.
connected to this. I'm plugged in to this. It feels good for me. So
Yeah,
I
I
hope
try
each
to
day
explain
continues
to
to be
people that you should wake up and you should want to wake up. You
right,
should not dread, like today's Sunday, you shouldn't dread tomorrow being Monday.
right,
You should be
right, right,
excited about it.
right.
And if you are not, you need to change that
Exactly. You
quickly.
definitely need to change it. To me, Monday is just another day to get closer to getting, to get closer to my dreams. That's really what it is.
That's
And then
exactly that's it.
every
Yeah.
day.
And I think that because so many things evolve every day, like I tell everyone every day I have to have a win. And it could be
Right.
the smallest thing as me finding a coupon.
Yeah.
But it is going to be a win. And
Oh
because I'm
yeah.
excited to find the win, I am excited to get up in the morning and to get it going.
Exactly. Exactly. I
So
reward myself for keeping my word to myself. I realize how hard that is for so many of us to do. So in the day, when you talk about finding wins, that's one of my wins. I said I was going to do this by this time, and it's done. Go, Rob. You good?
yeah,
That's a necessary thing. It's a necessary.
definitely, definitely. And if you want to ask questions, we're getting to that part. Please click on the boxes. They should be on the upper right-hand corner. If you've logged in with your Gmail account into the Hangout, click on the boxes. It'll say Q&A, and a box will drop down on the right, and it'll say Ask a Question at the bottom. And please ask questions. We already have one question, and I do see it, so I will get that taken care of. But what's the lesson that took you the longest to learn?
Not everything we love is meant to be kept. That is one of the hardest things I've had to learn, and that's one I still, struggle with a little bit, because we think we can measure our own forevers. We think we can predict how it's supposed to work out, when it's supposed to work out, all these different things, and we can't. We're not as skilled at it as we think we are. We don't have as much control as we think we are. Granted, we are in the driver's seat,
Mhm.
but we're not in control. And it is understanding that has been, I'm a Virgo. I pride myself on being assertive, and so understanding that, hey, Rob, no, you don't get to pick and choose when you have it. You get to pick how you enjoy it, but you don't get to pick and choose when you have it. And just realizing that love is as permanent, and as good, as enduring as God designed it to be. But we got to find different ways to do it. So, you know, it's just one of those things that you constantly learn. But I do remind myself that not everything we love is meant to be kept. Not forever, at least.
We have something else in common. I'm a Virgo too.
We're good people, right? We're
Yes,
good people.
definitely,
We're good people.
definitely. You know, Warren Buffett was a Virgo, so we are
Right?
destined for great things.
Actually, we are the one sign that has the most billionaires in the
I
world.
know this.
Virgo. See?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Tyler Perry, and yeah, we're in a great company. Great
Dr.
company.
Renee on her way.
Thank
Let's
you.
claim that. We got to claim that.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So, what is your definition of success?
Making sure your lows consistently get higher. That is the most simple definition I can offer you. For me, that is success. I understand joy can be sustained now. I understand that I do not have to depend on happiness to keep me smiling. I understand that I can smile through storms now. So I understand that because my lows have consistently got higher. Every time I fall, it's a little bit higher than where I fell last time. And I'm always thankful for that because it reminds me that I'm learning, that I'm staying moldable, that I'm actually applying what I've learned. Uh,
Let's take the first question. How do you feel about the difference between being a self-published author and having a book deal?
well, being self-published, you have so much more freedom. You press go when you want to say go. You design it how you'd like to. You create all of that. So I love that freedom. I also love the power that comes with being, with the major publisher. Their process, the distribution, the connection, the affiliation. That's also good as well. For me, it's deciding the objective of the book. I have a one book deal, not a long term deal. I didn't want one long term. I want my stuff to be effective, and I want to have options. If I can get it out across to the people better than a publisher can, or if I understand, what I'm trying to say, then self-publishing just makes sense for that idea. And for the one that I have, the missing piece, which is about awareness, this is something that I wanted to say on a larger stage. So getting a book deal, made sense for it. But the other books, I love the freedom of self-publishing, creating my own tours, redesigning it, learning the business. I think that self-publishing actually made me sharp, because it showed, like, how do you really sell a book? How do you really engage an audience? How do you make people, even though they have your book and they can get so much free content online, how do you actually make them show up when you're having an event? How do you convince them that that ticket is actually worth the money that they work so hard for? And it's all about the connection. So the self-published side gave me the ability to make strong connections because I was doing it all myself. I was doing it all myself. Whereas with a big publisher, you have other people doing that for you. So you just have to bank on their ability to sell you, basically. And I wasn't selling me. I was just showing who I was, and people were investing in that. So it helped.
Now, the tour with Kenny Burns, was that the first tour you did, or you've done more than that?
Well, that was the first tour I've ever did with someone.
Someone else,
Before
okay.
that, yeah, it was just spot tour dates. That has been one of the funner tours I've done just because we balance each other in a way that I feel like helps people. It keeps them laughing, it keeps them inspired, but also, it just keeps them connected. So that tour, and I love the title, Living Life for a Living. That is what we all hope to do. That is what we all, are ultimately working for.
Definitely. Definitely. And how did you connect with Kenny?
Kenny, it was so when I was trying to build my brand, when I was trying to branch out and grow, I would do these things called seed planting missions. So I would save up some money and I would go spend 3 to 4 to 5 days in a city, depending on what city it was. And before then, I would just do some research on who was moving in the city, who was this or who was that. And I would try to get them familiar with my brand in some way. I would have to figure out a way to get them to notice me. And, that was through the work. Some way, I met Kenny in Norfolk at a club. He completely, just ignored me. I wasn't really, hey, what's going on? Oh, what's up? All right, cool. That type of thing. So
Yeah.
I said to myself, no, next time I see him, it'll be in a different context. Because I was familiar with, what he had done and stuff. So a couple months later, I was tweeting, doing my regular thing, and he started following me. It just so happens that I had planted my next seed plant mission was Atlanta. So after he followed me, I think I was there in a week and a half, sent him a DM. Like, hey, I'm in the city. I would love to just sit out and talk with you. Iron sharpens iron. I believe there's some stuff I can learn from you. He agreed. We sat down, and we have been, he's been a big brother ever since. But yeah, what I did is a lot of my relationship building has come from those seed plant missions. I went to LA, I went to Miami, I went to Atlanta, I went to New York, I went to DC. It's just spending time in other areas and showing people that you have something valuable in you,
That is very interesting. I've never heard anything like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, nobody was just going to pop up in Virginia. And I realized from that meeting with Kenny that even if they did pop up in Virginia, I wasn't going to get the conversation that I needed to have with them. So you got to put yourself in position to meet people. And even if I did have to act fake busy sometimes, it was just one of those things. People want to work with people that they know are working.
Yeah.
And that's just the thing. So you got to show people, hey, I'm working too. I'm building something too, and I have something to contribute to you as well. So.
Definitely. That's one of the keys to networking, I say. Make sure that you can somehow add value to the person.
Exactly.
And then they're more than likely to try and help you in any way that they can.
And even if they don't, adding value, it makes you sharp. It makes you sharp.
And I've done just like the whole internship thing. You do some stuff and you do it for free, but you just never know. If you do it well, it could turn into cash later. And so,
one person
some stuff.
One is it is God never really asked us to work for free. Now He may ask us to prove our faith, and that may require us to do some work, but
Right.
not for free. We get the payoff. We get the
Right.
payoff.
Yeah.
And it's all about how we choose to see what the payoff is. All of us may not look like the billion that Oprah has, but we can definitely do some amazing things in this world.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We have another question. Thank you, Fly Media Productions. I know military service emphasizes on discipline can be an asset in business and life in general. I've wondered, after talking with friends and family who are former service members, did it ever negatively impact areas of creative expression as an author?
Oh yeah. When I told them I was getting out of the Navy, I was an E5. I had just got some orders to the Office of Naval Intelligence in D.C. I was only working about 3 or 4 days a week. It was going to be a cake thing for like two years or so. But I couldn't do it. I could not do it. And they told me, they said, print media is dying. I know you want to be a writer, but there's got to be some other stuff you could do. You might want to stay here. They virtually, some of them laughed at me. And that had me doubting myself a little bit. It had me like, maybe I do need a first, get paid on the 1st and 15th. And, maybe I do need that traditional situation. And then after a while, when you become aware enough of who you are, you realize it's not going to look pretty all the time. But I got what it takes. And for me with the Navy, I excelled at something that I virtually hated. I was not happy there at all. But I promoted first time up. Like, I proved to myself that I can get through rough times. So we allow things to impact us different ways. For me, I was not about to let something like that stifle what I believed God had for the rest of my life. So yeah, some days I didn't write. Some days I might not have had anything to write. But that doesn't mean I can't review what I'd already written. That doesn't mean I couldn't find a new way. So yeah, maybe you don't create. Maybe you become a better editor. Maybe you become a better reader. Maybe you become a better, in some way you find something else to do until you can get back to the original expression, which is writing. But did it negatively impact me? No. It inspired me. I realized that I could become a robot. And I, and I, and I knew that I was not going to be one.
Well, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, no, I realized I could become a robot really quick.
You got to make lemonade out of lemons. Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's not the life for me.
Right. Thank you again, Fly Media Productions. I was going to ask you, so in the service, so how many years did you do in the service?
I did 4 years. 4 years between
Okay.
2008 and 2012. I joined in April and released in April of each year.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, what did your parents say when you, well, actually, what did they say when you first said you were going to quit that wonderful job that was going to be the cake job? What did they say?
So when I came to them, I said, look, I think I'm good at this. I think that it's really in my heart. I think that God gave it to me. And I really think that I should go after it now. So I'm going to give myself 2 years. I need you guys to be willing to help me in this 2 years. If I'm not on my way, or at least making it there, or making good enough money off of it in 2 years, I will get back in the service. I promise you all. They respected it. I think they saw it in my eyes, and parents just know their kids. I know when my son means what he's saying. You can kind of look at him, and I think my mom saw it in my eyes. But I also think I had earned their respect. They'd seen me writing every day. They'd seen how I had a book 3 days, and then I built a website. Like, literally, I have no training. Of course, it wasn't the most amazing website.
Right.
But they saw me get busy. GoDaddy had a website tonight function, so I built it. I got it suitable enough because I knew I needed online access. I didn't wait. So I think that I kind of just earned their respect. So when it came time to make that decision, they were confident that I would figure it out. And I showed them my plan. Like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to talk to. This is where I want to be. And when that 2-year mark came, there was no doubt. There was absolutely no doubt.
So what do they say now to see all the success you've had?
They are proud. They are proud. My
That's cool.
parents are. I'm thankful for our bond and everything we went through, because it is enriched us all in a major way. I got a chance to take my mom to South Africa. The Navy never let me do that. Not comparing
Right.
lifestyle, but you know, I got a chance to see the world, man. I've got
Right.
a chance to do some incredible things, and I've even got a chance to be, a point of help to a lot of my family at some point, and that's a gift. I think that makes them proud. I don't have the degree and all the other things that parents may pride themselves on. When they say, "Hey, my son's or my kid's doing successful," but they see me making a way. And I think that they respect that. They really do, and they're so supportive, so supportive.
That's great. Um, you spoke in South Africa, right?
Yes, Johannesburg.
That is, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was
What was that like?
600 people showed up to hear me speak.
Oh, wow.
I was on national. It was called the Love Conference. I was on national TV every day. I was there 5 days. It was actually the first time I've ever been on national TV. It was in Johannesburg. Um, Tickets sold out like 3 days before the show. It was an overwhelming experience. I felt so rich. I felt so rich, so loved, so divine. I walked in the room, they started clapping. I hadn't even said anything. It was one of those things where you're like, thank you, God. Thank you for putting this in me and allowing me to give it in a way that makes people feel better, that makes people all the way around the world want to show up and in large numbers. And I'm thankful to Just Curious, which is the blog that invited me out there. They sponsored the conference for believing in me, because they made it happen, and I got a chance to take my mom on a safari and we saw the old city, we ate great. It was one of the best experiences I've had.
So in like, what's your 30-second pitch that explains exactly what you do? Because even when I was going to the event here, people were like, who is he?
Okay.
Go look it up.
So I don't even really need 30 seconds. I always
Okay.
explain it in 3 words. I help people. And the extended version of that, it's I help whoever, whenever, and however. Whether it's through a word, whether it's through an ear, whether it's through an act. I help people. That's why I'm here, and that's what I do. So if I have to write a book to help people, great. If I have to write a song, if I have to speak in an event, if I have to hand out some food, it doesn't matter. I help people. That is what I do. And if nothing else, if that's all you remember, great. Who was Rob? He helped a few people. Perfect. Perfect. Because at the end of the day, that's all we're going to be remembered for. How we made other people feel, through our actions and through our words.
Definitely. We have another question. Referring to your experience in South Africa, I've heard the challenges can be somewhat different than U.S. teens. Did your strategy for serving the needs of their teens change?
No, because when I went there, I requested to spend enough time to where I got an authentic feel. Um, so the event, I literally flew out the day after the event. So the whole week prior to that, I was just shutting up and listening. I was asking questions. I don't believe that we can just tell people what they need. We have to understand where it is they lack, what it is they feel they need, all those things. And what I found at the very base of it, much like here in America, whether you're talking about teens or adults, it's most times just a lack of identity. Very few of us know who we are. Yes, we know our names. Yes, we've known, what we've done. We can name our school. We can name, where we grew up. But few of us really know how to feel about what happened to us. Few of us know how to articulate our experiences in a way that can actually help other people. Few of us actually, have dug deep enough into our cores to know, because I just believe identity is a reflection. It affects behavior. So whatever you identify yourself as, that will dictate what you do, what you say, where you go, how you treat yourself, but also how you treat other people. And it's not an identity crisis by any means. It's just and identity conditioning, and we have to recondition ourselves. It's not a crisis, though. We're not panicking. We're strong enough to recognize the truth. We just have to be proactive enough to seek it. I'll say that. So no, I didn't really notice any disheartening problems over there, much different than I did here. It's really just, do you know who you are? Are you confident enough in that to walk in it? You know, are you confident enough in that to want to bring it out at other people? You know, it was that type of thing.
How old is your son now?
My son's 7. He just turned 7, January 19th.
Oh, lovely.
That's my young genius. If I'm not getting anything else right, I know I'm getting that wrong. I'm getting that bond right. That is what I'm most proud of.
That's very important. Just like you said with the boys, it's so important. Father-son relationships.
Oh yeah. That bond fills me up. He's so eager to learn. You know, life is everything. Everything is in front of him. It's all new possibilities. He actually has to try to have a bad day. And, you know, through him, I really realized like happiness is a choice. He doesn't wake up like, oh, yesterday was so this. He wakes up like, Dad, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do today? You know, and I think that's so beautiful. So I kind of steal that mindset from him.
What is the best piece of advice you ever received?
Just to stay open, to stay moldable. I think that has carried me the furthest. When you get closed off, when you get cold and you harden yourself, you become statue-like, lifeless almost. You know, you can't bend, you can't, you know, basically your only option is to break because you're so stiff and so stuck. So I want to stay open. I want to stay warm. I want to understand that everything that happens to me is to sharpen me in some way. You know, my mom referred to me a lot as her mansion under construction. So you just got to understand that, you know, God's working on us. You know, he's just chipping away. I need a little bit more of that. Need a little bit less of this, you know. And, you know, that's kind of where I am right now with it.
Do you have a favorite quote or scripture?
My favorite scripture, Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And that kind of dictated how I define love, because I define love as a commitment to protecting another person's heart with the same passion you use to guard your own. So, you know, those two just kind of stick with me, and they motivate me to love, you know, to give, to stay open. And, of course, not just romantic love, my love for my career, my love for myself, you know, my love for my family, the many different facets of love. Those two, you know, they're just my constant reminders to stay open and stay warm, to smile more, to, you know, to hug people, to, you know, just to feel, to be alive. Listen, we got it good. We're still here.
I totally agree. No arguments here. No arguments here.
We got it good.
Every day somebody else is not here. Just like I don't understand people that don't celebrate birthdays. I was like, right. But there's people that, one, didn't make it to the age you are, and two, they're not here this year to celebrate with you. So
people don't. I find that we are the scariest but bravest generation. We naturally want to think out of the box. We have all this suppressed energy, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we're so scared to feel. We're so scared we literally think disappointment is like the worst thing. And disappointment actually comes to give us perspective. Mm-hmm. Perspective, you know, it really allows you to have that choice of happiness or not, you know, and I just wish people were a little less afraid of being hurt. I think I tweeted one time, I can no longer date anyone who is afraid of being hurt. If you haven't been liberated from that fear, you know, then you're kind of cheating yourself, I believe.
You're right. You have to be vulnerable, and being vulnerable, you may get hurt. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And getting hurt is not a bad thing. It literally is not a bad thing. Transitions are going to be uncomfortable. You know, they're actually meant to. You're going through a transformation, a change, you know, and you got to learn to see the necessity in pain, you know. Not suffering, but pain.
Where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years?
Loving people, loving people, and hopefully on a larger stage. And when I say larger stage, I want to be able to, I want to do home decor. I want to be in people's homes. I want to do movies. I want to do songs. I want to do branches. I just want to be able to continue to engage people. I want to continue to be a positive force in other people's lives, whether that be through a show, whether it be through radio. I don't really know. It's
Sky's
just
the limit.
yeah, no, it's I want to stay open.
Yeah.
If God says go there, then go there, and I'll do that. I just want to continue adding value, man. I want to continue taking pride in people smiling when they see me, you know?
So you have an app, and I want to make sure you tell people about the app, the Health Healer app.
It's the Heart
Just give
Healer
them a
app.
quick rundown.
The
Heart Healer,
app.
excuse me, I'm the health person. I'm sorry.
Hey, we need that too. But the
Right.
Heart Healer app is really just hopefully another tool. Any product that I put out to me is always just to be a tool. So all the quotes that you loved and saw on Instagram, they're on the app. And they're cataloged into categories, and then you have the Ask Rob section where you can ask me a question and get a personal response. You can support my events, get tickets, see where I'm going to be. You can follow me on social media. You can, it's just an interactive way to get more of, I don't want to say more of me because that sounds vain, but to get more of what I have to offer. We'll say that.
That is awesome. One last question. Who's your home decor influence?
Uh, I always refer to Kirkland's because I go in there and kind of get lost because they have so much stuff. Right now, I've always loved sayings. Words are my thing. So I'm not saying I'm going to have the plush home decor stuff, but what I will have is some life. Some people may prefer Bible scriptures, but I just want to be able to I have some paintings that I painted in my house. You walk up the steps and it says faith, family, love, and then the next painter says rushing things, ruin things. So every time my son walks to his room, he sees that, so he understands these are my priorities, and, this is a saying. So with home decor, I just feel like the stuff that we put up sends messages to us, and they're very on-time messages. And I realize that everybody's not going to have to be in Mary Jane stickies
Post-it notes all over the
place. So hopefully we can give you something a little bit more artistic, that you don't, have to just put in your bathroom,
Yeah, I have a mantra on the back of my door. So every day when I leave, I have to say that. And
Right.
I mean, it's just a piece of paper I printed out from the printer.
Exactly. Just like that beautiful piece you have behind you.
Oh, thank you.
You wanna liven it up a little bit.
Yeah, I understand it, and that you're right. But it's not just Bible scriptures, because then, they have all sorts of
Right.
sayings that ended up being pieces. So yeah.
2015. We can come up with some original quotes. We can come up with stuff that keeps up with the pulse of us. We don't have to just celebrate the words of people who were, who have died or who were once influential. We can acknowledge each other's words.
Definitely.
Put them in each other's homes. Let's inspire. Iron sharpens iron. The village. It still takes a village. It just works in different ways. I'll say that.
Right. Hopefully it works better.
Oh yeah. We're gonna make sure. We're gonna make sure it does.
Yeah. Finish these sentences. The world needs
Love.
I believe in
love. It's so crazy because I'm trying to give you the first thing that comes to my head. And
right,
the
and I
reason
understand
why that word continues to pop up. I don't want to be the over-lovey person, like, oh, he doesn't have that much love. Really, I just understand the different facets of it. And I'm not just talking about romance. When I say the world needs love, love inspires understanding. It inspires compassion. It inspires connection. So, to me, I know love can feud out the hate. I know it can feud out the rough stuff. And when you say I believe in love because that's literally what I founded everything on. That's literally my one principle. That's the one thing that's going to guide me and any of us to anywhere that's worth being, because it's the ultimate multiplier. Nothing multiplies like love. Nothing. So I want to be there. Uh,
The last one is branding is.
Everything. Branding is everything. And I say that because it's you. It's you. It is how people perceive you. It is what they think of you. It is, we're taught to, think like, oh, what they think doesn't matter. How people perceive me doesn't matter. Well, if you're trying to run a business, it does.
It does.
But also, if you're just trying to have an overall peaceful life or a happy life, it does. It would. There's nothing but people in this world. It would pay or behoove you to care about what they think, And, of course, you get the thing, people are always going to say what they want to say, and people are going to talk anyway. And that's cool. But you can change what people say.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually work your way out of what people say about you. So branding is everything. You got to understand, what you want the world to see you as. Yeah.
I totally agree. Rob's book, The Audacity of a Good Heart, is actually available on my site, and I will have the link in the box. That's the latest book he did. You're welcome, of course. And if I wasn't doing it myself, I might have had all the books there, but at least we have that one there, the most recent book. You're welcome. And I myself have the Heart Healer app, and it's a very, very wonderful app. I highly recommend everyone run to their app stores and purchase it, because when I tell you, he really has some really powerful things to say that are things that you might not have thought of, things you might want to show somebody, mother, brother, sister, father, husband, wife, whatever. You might want to show them, and it might spark a wonderful conversation that needed to be had. You just never know.
Thank you.
So thank you, Rob, for sharing your story with us this evening.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you, welcome me on your platform. And I'm excited to see, where you go and where you take things. This has been fun. This has been fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you on your next tour, wherever that is.
Definitely, definitely. Hopefully we come through Chicago, but if not, you'll be bouncing around, so maybe
definitely
one of these other cities.
Yes, and please tell people where your next event is, the March one, correct?
I'll actually be at Southern Illinois University on next Wednesday.
Okay.
And then after that, I will be in Middleton, New York. It's an Evening with Rob. Some great guys are putting on an awesome event. His name is Michael Lavin, and that will be in Middleton on March 7th. After that, I'll be in Atlanta on the 13th and 14th. Like I said, you guys can go to my app or the website, and we're updating it constantly. I have a 10-city tour I'm going on soon.
I have a link to all of that stuff will be in the comment box below. And next week, we will have the power couple, Ronnie and Lamar Tyler. If you are not familiar with this wonderful couple, please visit blackandmarriedwithkids.com, and you might see Ask Dr. Renee talking about heart health. That's my latest article I did for them. But they will be on next Sunday, same time, same place. I hope that we've motivated at least one person and inspired somebody to live the life you deserve. Please feel free to comment in the box below. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to tweet, email me, comment, whatever. I am more than accessible via Ask Dr. Renee. That's my Twitter name, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, everything. And my website, as you see, is askdrrenee.info. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. And I look forward to seeing everyone next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.